Going from the base game of Doom Eternal to the Ancient Gods DLC, id Software definitely raised the stakes in every possible way that they could, with the exception of music. They kind of mixed it very poorly. But I digress. With the DLC not really letting anyone down, expectations were only set higher for the next DLC whenever that's set to release in the first half of next year. There you guys go. I'm giving you a 7-month time span to come out with the DLC. That's not to give them a time crunch. That's just so my expectations don't get shattered into oblivion. But to be honest with you guys, we don't know jack shit about what this DLC is going to entail. All we know is at some point we are going to be fighting ourselves naked. Meat hooking is going to be incorporated into the platforming, and we could potentially be facing some type of change to the ice bomb. And the reason why I say that is because if you guys didn't know, when the Ancient Gods first dropped, Hugo Martin did mention that he noticed that the ice bomb was a crutch for a lot of players, and while the majority used it as a get out of jail free card, a lot of top players basically more or less abused it. So at that time he did mention that he was looking into a possible balancing act with the ice bomb, similar to what he did with the weapon swapping a few months back, which they basically added a slight delay. The majority of people couldn't tell was there, but those that knew how to do it beforehand could definitely feel the changes that were implemented. Initially I was expecting something along those lines, where after a certain sequence of movements or attacks, or let's say you fire off a grenade and pull out a couple different weapons, you might have a slight delay in pulling out the ice bomb. You know, like it's a specific thing that id Software is trying to stop people from abusing. Maybe they're going from precision bolt to rocket launcher to super shock and ice bomb, and if you do it in that specific order, there's going to be half a second delay in ice bombing because the game is detecting too much damage per second, something along those lines. But apparently with this screenshot that just surfaced, along with I think it was a couple days ago when I streamed, I think the guy's name was Kyle, forgive me if I'm wrong, but someone popped into the stream and mentioned that Hugo Martin was looking into changing the ice bomb to become something that you earn, in the sense of it would no longer be on a cooldown. Instead, in order for you to get your ice bombs back, you'd have to perform a glory kill on a heavy demon, which will be your Hell Knight, your Arachnotrons, your Mancubi, demons like that. Now, before we get ahead of ourselves, let's take a look at the ice bomb right now, which, by the way, you can actually abuse to help you get an infinite blood punch. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. This is courtesy of your boy McCain. Shout out to him. He's the one that showed me how to do this. He's actually been going to great lengths with things like this. If you guys want some extra tips and tricks on weapon combinations, what works best on certain demons, let's say you forget, you haven't played in a while, he's been putting together a very solid guide, both basic and advanced. So regardless of whatever your skill level is, you can check that out in the Discord. You can also check out his additional clips that he has over on Twitch, which is linked down below, to give you a better idea of how to do this. But to do this, I'm going to show you in the Ancient Gods DLC, but you can also do it in the base game. Now, it's easier in the DLC because everything's automatically given to you, and there's a lot of instances where you can take the most advantage of this. But rune wise, what you're going to need is Punch and Reeve, because every time you kill a demon, they're going to drop health for you. And you're going to also want to equip Equipment Fiend, which is going to lower your cooldown of things like your Flame Belch and your grenades and ice bombs. And in the base game, I would also highly recommend either maxing out your Sentinel Crystals or at least having armor and health for blood. Those two things are very helpful along with Punch and Reeve, because in those situations, whenever you come across extra health or extra armor and your health and armor is already maxed out, those pickups are instead going to contribute to refueling your blood punch. And because your Praetor suit points are already maxed out as well, you don't have to worry about this. But if you're in the base game, you're going to want to make sure that under the ice bomb section of the Praetor suit, you have it where demons actually drop health for you when they're frozen. And that's pretty much it. We're going to move over to the UAC facility, the very last arena of this level. I have Punch and Reeve equipped, I have Equipment Fiend on, and the last rune you can put whatever you want. I always play with air control, so that's what I got on here. But whenever I'm playing or whenever I'm doing my Ultra Nightmare guides, I always tell everyone to look for opportunities to get your health up and your armor, whether that be meat hooking or glory kills or flame belch. You obviously want to stay at max health. Here, however, we're not aiming to stay alive, we're aiming for a surplus of resources to continuously refuel our blood punch. So especially if you're a little bit of a reckless player and your armor's always halfway or a little less than halfway, then I would suggest looking at your armor as a secondary way of doing this and rather focusing on ways to drop excess health. And the way that we're going to do this is you want to bunch up as many fodder demon, or really as many demons as you possibly can, drop an ice bomb in a position that's going to affect the majority or as many demons as possible, follow that up with a flame belch, and then just start going to town with your fist. hit everything to oblivion with the blood punch. With all this health, with all this armor that's going to be dropped thanks to your flame belch and thanks to punch and reave, along with your ice bombs being maxed out, which allows more health to be dropped, which in turn goes back to you refilling your blood punch, and thanks to that flame belch hit, your armor's being sustained enough where your health isn't actually being touched. So you're basically just in this constant cycle of an infinite blood punch. I actually end this entire level off with 2 blood punches still. Something like this makes the section in the hole where you're being rushed by imps so much easier. In the blood swamps level where you gotta fight in the little bubble with the wolf, that becomes 1,000 times easier as well, especially that section where you're rushed by shielded soldiers, which if you didn't know, if you hit them with a blood punch, that gets them ready for a glory kill. Follow that up with a glory kill, then you're constantly, basically from glory kills alone, constantly having your blood punch active. I also showed I beat the Baron back to hell with just blood punches a little while ago, and in the same section, if you can hit a handful of demons along with the Doom Hunter, then you can basically beat the crap out of them with just your fist as well, never even firing a shot. Now obviously this entire thing isn't attributed to just the ice bomb, but it's undoubtedly a big factor to it. All it takes is 1 ice bomb, 4 demons, a flame belch, blood punch, and you're basically set for almost the rest of the fight without even thinking. If you're thinking about what you're doing and you're trying to actively get your infinite blood punch, you can pretty much initiate that in every single fight and last the whole fight with just your blood punch. Now going back to the idea of ice bombs being awarded to you via glory kills on heavy demons, I'm actually a little bit of a fan of this, especially if that's just going to be tied to the Ancient Gods Part 2. Then basically every experience Doom Eternal has to offer this year is going to be drastically different. You have the base game where you have that giant learning curve. If you never played Doom Eternal before, you got to get familiar with the runes, the combat system, the fundamentals, everything the game has to offer. Then you have the Ancient Gods where everything's turned up to 11 with the nice addition of the Spirit, and then building on that with the Ancient Gods Part 2, ice bombs are no longer the crutch. You have to be earned. It'd be cool too that after doing a handful of glory kills, you can actually save them up. They treat it like a chainsaw where you can save up to 3 ice bombs, and then you can use them in situations that are most beneficial to you. Or even if it's not based off of heavy demons and it's just based off of a certain amount of kills that you have to do. And just heavies and super heavies are going to contribute to your ice bomb a little bit more than fodder demon. Like I said, I'm not entirely against this idea. I kind of like it because there's a lot of times where I'm circling around an arena because I'm waiting for an ice bomb to finally be done on its cooldown, and if it's going to be awarded to me for prioritizing certain demons and having to finish them off with a glory kill, then that's going to contribute to how I play, essentially. And if you guys seen the video that I put out yesterday, that was an issue I had with the Ancient Gods DLC where I feel like id Software missed an opportunity to link Slayer Gates with secret encounters. You know, the secret encounters could have been ways to strengthen the support runes that we got from those Slayer Gates. Or another way they can go about it is instead of hoarding up 3 ice bombs, they might feel like that's a little too much. Instead, there's levels to it. So you still need to glory kill heavies in order to get your ice bomb back, but if it's going to be awarded to you, they incorporate that along with the charge up. So the more demons you end up glory killing while you're working towards your ice bomb is in fact going to make your ice bomb slowly get stronger. Maybe increase the blast radius, maybe increase the amount of time it's going to affect those demons, how long they're going to stay frozen. Something like that I think would be a good way to go about it, as you're not entirely changing the fundamentals. I feel like at Doom Eternal's core, you still have to think, you still have to prioritize, you still have to think about what your next move is and how to set yourself up for the next potential fight, and make it an award for glory killing certain demons in ways, or playing in ways that no one else would have thought of before. I think it would be a very neat way of going about it, as it's promoting new ways of thinking, new ways to approach these fights, and another dynamic that you need to incorporate into your combat flow. And in those complicated combat situations, this is another layer to separate those players that are just average or those players that are really another level above everyone else. You know, I heard the idea of nerfing the blast radius or nerfing the amount of time that demons are frozen, and those, yeah, might be viable options to help ensure that the ice bomb isn't such a crutch. But at the same time, I feel like if you were to change it into the reward where you have to glory kill heavy demons, you're not only changing up how the ice bomb works, but you're doing it in a way that promotes creativity and active thinking and different ways to approach fights. And I think that's the best way to go about it, rather than just outright nerfing something just because you think too many players players rely on it. And again, if they were to do it this way, the top level players probably be the only ones that'll feel the difference. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. How do you feel about the Ice Bomb becoming a potential award that you need to work towards in the Ancient Gods Part 2? How do you guys feel about the Infinite Blood Punch? Have you guys tried it? Have you guys thought about it beforehand or never even thought of playing with Punch and Reeve like me? What's some other ways they can change the Ice Bomb? Some potential Ice Bomb nerfs. How do you feel about that? Let's talk. And like I said last time, I'm gonna finish off these videos with a comment from the Discord or the comment section. You know, because both of those are harmless sources. There's nothing but intellectual, and this is why I don't open my fucking Discord. Okay, let's try now. What is with boom and ass? Ah, here we go. A nice normal. I wonder what that says. Play a guessing game. Whoever can guess this correct, I'll give you $20 on Amazon. Is it neighbor? Is it no? Is it not what you think? Well, you're all wrong. It's nerd. Why did you even click on this? If you want your 10 seconds of shame, which I might as well call this bit from now on, go ahead and have at it in the comment section or join the Discord and see what kind of eye-opening conversations you can start there. But like always, guys, my name is Cynic. Thank you all so much for watching, but until next time, I'll see you on IGN Reviews the Game Awards.